Today we're talking about creating a dark and moody space, when, where, and how to use it. We are currently in a time where there is a repeated phrase of what people are looking for in a new home or how they would like to redesign their current home, and that repeated phrase is light and airy. It makes sense. The idea of light and airy is to have an interior which is lighter in color, has a lot of natural light, and because of that, it feels spacious. I can't find anything wrong with wanting any of those elements. However, sometimes too much of the all-white and gray interior feels a little stark. It can lack personality and feel a bit too neutral. If you're looking to add some emotion into your house, one way to do that would be to add a couple of rooms that express the dark and moody style. This will quickly lift the amount of character and poise that your home exudes. It also adds overall contrast and variety to your place so that every room doesn't seem exactly the same. So when and where would we use this style? Well, as for when, you can use it anytime you want. Where you might use it is anywhere in your home that you want to add a little bit of drama. Places that you frequent or areas of your home that you frequent in the evening are a great place to start. You may want to increase the level of intimacy that your study, dining room, or sitting room presents. Another perfect place would be the powder room or the half bathroom on the main level of your home. This works out especially well if the rest of the main level is light and bright. Then all of a sudden your guests are greeted by an unexpected drama-filled bathroom. Now immediately with this thought, you're going to have people say, but if I paint a small room a darker color, isn't that going to make the room feel even smaller? Not quite. It is true that if you take a smaller room and you make it completely light in color, it will feel larger. However, remember that the physical space we are working with within a room is never actually changing. Everything we do with light and dark is a balancing game, and the one common goal of that balancing game is to deceive the eye in its spatial awareness and its depth perception. When looking at a landscape, anything dark in color is going to recede. When you paint the walls of a small room dark, they recede. If set up correctly, the walls become less of a focal point, and the space begins to feel larger. Theaters of all sizes use this technique. The floors are dark, the chairs are dark, the walls are dark. Everything is supposed to fade away as the stage or screen becomes the focal point. Now that you have an idea of how and why this works, what are the steps to make it happen? Let's start with the walls. Obviously, the paint or wallpaper is going to be a darker color since we're creating a dark and moody theme. But one of the key factors that people often look past is to include gloss or texture in the finish. These elements allow light to reflect off the walls where it normally wouldn't. And what that does is allow the space to be a bit more spirited, even though it's dark. It also prevents the room from feeling matte and dull. Remember that black is not the only color which will create this mood. Other options might be deep ocean blues, dark forest greens, violets, or dark grays. The next step is going to be adding in your furniture, decorative pieces, and artwork. When working with a darker palette, you create the opportunity for your favorite pieces and accessories to become displays as they move into the foreground. Lighter pieces are going to stand out much more in the foreground of a darker palette than they would within a lighter palette. You want to choose bold, intriguing fixtures and pieces that will create contrast and dimension. You can do this by adding pieces with color that pop against the darker background. As you've probably picked up on, I'm a big fan of golds and bronzes that are accented against dark backdrops. Color is not the only tool that you can utilize either. Incorporating decor that has both patterns and textures is a great way to create that engaging and captivating look that you're striving for. This works in the same way that we referenced in the walls. Patterns and textures will catch and reflect light that otherwise would not occur. A side note and word of caution would be to not use too much of this technique, as you could end up with a space that is noisy and disarranged. 1 to 2 bold, eye-catching pieces should be plenty. Everything else can be relatively subtle. 2 bonus tips I have for you revolve around light and senses. The first is embracing the shadows. Shadows are such an essential aspect of a moody space, and if natural light is not in the room to create them, you'll want to create them artificially by setting up pockets of light. This can be done through floor lamps, dimmer switches, Edison bulbs, or directional lights. The second tip is working with the senses of smell, touch, and sound. Sometimes we become so focused on the sense of sight that we look past the other senses which are very capable of accentuating the vibe in a room. Is it coziness you're going for? Then try adding some soft pillows or plush throws that you can wrap up with. Is it more of an evening cigar lounge or whiskey room that you're aiming to create? Then you might have leather chairs or textured wood floors that you can feel. something that will help create a more rugged and masculine environment. Whether they're pie-scented or forest-scented, candles can be a major asset as well. Not only do they add to the sense of smell, they also help with creating pocket lighting, which we just spoke of. And finally, grab a small wireless speaker that you can connect to through your phone. Throw on whatever soft background music fits the environment. So there you have it, when, where, and how to create a dark and moody space. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you feel like sticking around a while, feel free to subscribe. See you on the next one.